So this month, without many international guests or other devs, we're definitely going to be buckling down and working on our projects really hard.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. We go on this entire mission, pack up all our shit, move halfway across the world to an island, and then spend all day in the office working just like we do at home.
But we are working incredibly hard. There's a lot of stress.
I planned poorly with having a lot of deadlines over the exact time that was meant to be in a tropical paradise.
It's obviously quite hard to be away from everybody for this long.
Less time with loved ones, but yeah, more catamarans.
I'm hoping that we can get onto schedule, get where we need to be with our games.
I do skateboard to and from work now.
That's so cool.
So life is like a little bit cooler.
Way more golf cart riding.
Golf cart riding as well.
Yeah.
And also my hair looks awful and that makes me sad.
More running on the beach and also watching sunsets.
Lots of sunset watching.
Yeah, it's actually, it's quite different from back home.
I just miss all the colors. I miss the colors.
Cricket is a game that started at a game jam for Super Friendship Arcade. They had the constraint of make a game that 2 people could play, each with 1 button.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, you're so bad at batting.
It was sort of an experiment to work with Marcel, redoing the art from scratch.
Should I be honest about this?
Yes, definitely.
I'm going to be done with this by the end of today.
Basically, Evan and I decided to spend one day and one day only getting cricket looking a lot better. It's one day cricket. Yeah, except we have to make everything. I had quite a lot to get done in one day.
Like one of the main things he's missing is facial expressions, because when they bat, they sort of do this, and we're going to work on that.
From concept to creating an entire character and a couple of props and an entire background. It's kind of tricky because it's 3D, but he has to be flat and work, so it's pretty challenging. A little bit of pressure.
Jamming is fun. Who needs sleep?
It didn't quite go in the direction we intended. The face of the character ended up not going in the game.
At the end of the day, not much of what I made got used besides the hair, which was the quickest thing to create.
It's tricky taking a game that people have been playing at all these exhibits and you've seen so many times and then kind of going, well, we need to make this better and significantly different.
And I was feeling a little bit down about it, but at the end of the day, the artistic style really just didn't work with the gameplay, and it was a good call. I learnt a lot, which was the most important thing.
And now it's closer to a 36-hour prototype, which is a significant, it's at least a 50% improvement.
The creative direction for Gorn is kind of still being figured out right now. I definitely want the enemy to be stylized because the game is very violent, and I think a stylized character helps kind of offset the brutality of what I'm expecting the player to do. Too much detail gets very noisy in VR, too little detail and it just doesn't look good, so we're trying to find that balance. Then also because everything is physics driven, we can't cheat with the animations, so there's a large practical consideration that also needs to be taken into account when the character is created.
David usually, concepts whatever Rowan requests. So let's say a piece of armor. Then I take it into ZBrush. I sculpt the forms. Then I take it into 3D Coat or 3D Studio Max, and I do like a low poly version. Then I bake the high poly onto the low poly, and then we texture it and send it off to Ron.
Once it's been implemented, we'll kind of see what it plays like and looks like in game, and basically do a couple of more iterations until it looks and plays right.
As creative director, your job is to ask other people for good ideas and then tell them to do them. In the case of genital jousting, it very much is more me and Richard that are like kind of deciding on the vision of the game.
Evan's definitely creative lead on that front. He has a very strong visual eye and sense of color palettes is really great. So I'm sort of letting him just take lead, and I will mostly point out when I think things are weird.
I mean, a creative director really should be the person or persons that are directing the vision of the game. In the case of genital jousting, I think that's quite collaborative.
My artistic process for genital jousting usually starts with a very in-depth conversation with Evan and Richard. We talk about the functionality, any ideas that they have in their head.
It's a lot of telling Marcel to make things into cubes or spheres, occasionally capsules, when we're getting creative.
Basically, mock up a couple of designs, keep it fairly loose to start off with, see how it's working in the game before pushing any heavy details into any assets.
Marcel's been really great on picking up our pipeline for integrating content. He's picked up how to use the version control system faster than I've seen anyone do it before.
Sometimes it's a bendy shape, but basically a capsule.
Because the style is quite simplistic, it's actually easier to just work in a 3D environment and almost do your concepting on the fly.
Sometimes it's an object with a hole in it. I think it's going to be the next week, a lot of more holes in objects that we're going to be asking him to do.
The hardest part is just functionality. How do things actually work? Not only look, but how do they function? You have to ask yourself constantly, how would a penis open this door? How would a penis open this oven? And also, what's going to be fun within the game? How can we make things more interactive? How can we make things more entertaining, more destructible?
So it was the last weekend that JW, Kitty and Robbie and Vive were with us. So it made sense to book a catamaran to ride around the ocean. What we didn't know was that the ocean was really shallow. We could have just walked out. The water is remarkably blue, it doesn't look like Cape Town water. It's like what water looked like in postcards.
Yeah, postcard water. I mean, we chased some dolphins. I felt a bit weird about that.
Yeah.
Dolphin paparazzi.
There was a lot of jumping off the boat.
Lots of boat jumping. The water is so warm and nice, and it's super clear.
It's pretty. I'm still looking forward to finding a way to go deeper, scuba diving or something.
It's such a alien landscape if you're looking down. I feel I look at it, I'm oh, I must make some alien reef game where you fight gladiators underwater.
I'll make a game about being a tube worm underwater, trying to find holes to penetrate. Yeah, they played reggae, Afro beats, the entire.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's also very island appropriate. I didn't want to say anything, but if I was going to stereotype island music, that would be what I would go for.
Exactly, yeah.
Shaz just found her beer signal and just signaled, and this guy came out of the water.
I watched the process. There was a guy in scuba gear coming up to our boat carrying a bunch of beers.
Some kind of beer boat scuba Santa.
Yeah.
Brings presents.
Oh, Semenya!
I mean, I didn't even see him swim to another boat. He just went back underwater, and that was it.
One of the things that was great about having guests stay with us while we're working here is that you get a fresh perspective on things.
JW is a really good game designer, and I think his input on little challenges and extra perks I can put into the game was really valuable.
Yeah, they were definitely inspiring, but also they kind of were distracting because I just wanted to go and play tennis on the beach with them and stuff instead of work.
Having them here is it's another connection to this bigger thing that is indie game development, and there's conversations about what it means to make games in a small team, what it means to make art games. what it means to make games for yourself.
Look around you. This place is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and now we bought this yacht and we're sailing back
home. Thank you, Free Lives.
Thank you.
And then turn right. Yo.
The guests have left, but they left a big impact on us all, I think. And they left us like a bunch of presents that are these lovely shaped objects.
Everything's capital letters.
Yeah.
General space.
It's coral, right? Coral.
So if I can just
What is it?
you want to